Speaking of dumb shit the MCU or the DCEU is doing, I cannot believe they're still talking about releasing the Flash.
Here we go. Yeah, this is okay.
Like I keep seeing like they're like this might, the quote was, this might be Ezra Miller's last film. I was like, no, dude, like this film should not come out.
Yeah,
like this.
Yeah,
I understand how much money they put into it and how much it sucks, like that you would lose all that money, but you can't put this, like, I know they have to put this film out, but at the same time they can't put this film out.
Just put it on HBO Max.
Just put it on stream. Exactly. Put it on HBO Max. Call it a fucking day and move the fuck on, dude. Okay, so not like, I hope my friend forgives me for this, but I actually was legitimately offended. Someone on my page was like, I wonder if he'll bounce back like Robert Downey Jr. did. And the fact that you even compared Ezra Miller to Robert Downey Jr., just that alone, I was actually triggered.
Okay, no. Like, hold on. Right, I'll actually wait. I'll give you something though. You go back and look at Robert Downey Jr.'s early career.
Anybody? Like, I'm sorry, dude. Like,
he wasn't grooming people. He just did a little.
Yeah,
coke.
like,
I don't. Wait. What? No, what's going on with Ezra Miller?
Shit, you don't know?
No, I heard it was some shit. Didn't he get like drunk or something? He like got in a fight with someone.
That was like phase 1 of the destruction of fucking Ezra Miller. No, he apparently has been grooming this Native American girl since she was 12 years old. Like, just crazy shit. And then she turned 18 and he's run off with her and nobody has seen her. The latest is that he posted something like some funky ass crazy posts on his Instagram stories, like, I'm in another universe, you'll never find me, some kind of shit, and then deleted his Instagram. So like the parents of this girl like have reported, oh yeah, this has been going on for 6 years. You know, we just kind of found out about it and started to figure it out, and now they've run off. And there was one picture of them on the run where the girl's sitting in the back seat and she looks completely like glazed over, like she looks just gone, and she's in the back seat of his car, and he is off the grid.
They're off in the desert somewhere doing hallucinogens like crazy. Like he's joined some ayahuasca cult or something. Like this is some fucking.
It's all kinds of bad. I'm just like, dude, I cannot believe that the verbiage that they're gonna use is this might be his last DCEU movie.
I'm honestly DC and Warner Brothers and all that right now are trying to figure out what the fuck to do, because there is no easy answer in this one, because the amount of money they've dumped into this.
They stand to lose a shitload of money.
Yeah,
but at the same time, like if where they are at compared to Marvel, if you come out and basically say that money is more important than whatever the fuck Ezra Miller is doing, like, dude, you're bad. Buddy. Like, you're bad. Like, that's just,
I can't.
It's business over people.
Welcome to the All Pop No Culture podcast. I am your host, Pete. We are a pop culture centered podcast focusing mainly on streaming television and movies. And tonight, Kevin, you heard his voice? You've seen his face.
That's me.
Talking now. That's what I'm joined with.
That's me.
There. And Andrew's here. I'm very happy. I always love when Andrew's here. And Andrew's almost always here, so that makes me very happy. We are missing Andy tonight, which is a bummer. We are working on getting a fourth for that. Possibly some estrogen to break up our sausage fest. Although, God, if some of that pre-show ever makes anything, we are like the woke faction. Kevin and I. Well, anyway, yeah.
I don't know why a woman would ever come on this show, to be honest.
I know, God. Maybe no, but I said. I have said.
Jen's the only one. And that would be a horrible show. We could.
You know, Michelle would come back on. I think Michelle.
We should have her on
come back on
Halloween
for a horror
again.
movie.
Yeah.
I think that would be great.
That was a good show when she was on.
Yeah, Michelle would definitely come back on. She'd do a shift. And Michelle's cool. You'd dig Michelle.
She's dope.
Yeah. Yeah. God, there's so much to talk about tonight. Even though we talked about like 52 minutes of fucking pre-show. I got to go through and figure out. We
already covered the important stuff. We covered Adrian Pilecki.
little bit of Star Trek.
A little bit of Star Trek, but very, very random Star Trek.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to talk about that until we do our Star Trek episode, but I think it was good for us. We got a little bit of a release. We got to spit some of it out that we've been holding and saving back. We need to let that go. But our people won't hear that. Yeah, I don't know. Some of that shit's fun. I like to save that. We're due for a clip show soon. And I've started working on it a couple times, but it's a very daunting task. You got to sit down and listen to fucking, like in tonight's case, like an hour of shit to get like through some good stuff. And you like, sometimes it's just a little bit of, anyway.
Wait, there's good stuff?
Oh, there's some funny shit there when you go back and listen to it. Wowzers. You know what? I'm going to tee off tonight because this show's already off the rails. I don't even know what we're going to talk about. So everybody just grab bag it and we'll just fucking go from there. I actually did most of what I consumed has been Stranger Things with my daughter. We're now in the third season, episode 3. Yeah, Steve or Billy is fucking tripping out. It's the whole like weird doppelganger.
I love the feel of that season when you're thinking about the Starcourt Mall and like us being, because that's our generation, right? Like we were the mall kids.
Yeah, we were the tail end of that. But yeah. And
Stonebridge Mall. Kevin, were you Stonebridge too?
Oh yeah.
What's up? That was my first job.
I never worked in the mall.
I worked at the mall, actually. I worked in the mall, actually, oddly, and later in life. But that's a long story for another night.
If Andy worked at Stonebridge for any reason, I will literally be the only person on the show that didn't work at Stonebridge. Even if you go back to the beginning with Opie and
oh yeah. Oh, back to the. Oh my God, you're right.
I'd be the only one.
I think it's also possible you may be. I'm thinking about every guest we've ever. No, I'm just thinking about every guest that's ever been on both shows, even going back to Plan B. I don't think we've ever had on Stonebridge Mall working person on this show. Holy
that's crazy.
Shit, that's fucking weird.
That is weird. That's weird. And you know what's really weird is that people listening have no idea. Like,
yeah,
I would actually say that most people listening probably know exactly what we're talking about because they know us. Yeah, which means they probably all worked at Stonebridge at some point. But
or if not, they just Googled it.
Yeah,
or hung out there, or just Googled it. Leah, we see you. You probably Googled it. Stephanie, you probably Googled it too. Yes, I called you out by name.
Leah, it's the Canadian crew.
Nova Scotia, baby.
Newfies for life, baby. Newfoundland pride.
That's
what?
Newfoundland, not Nova Scotia. Get right. But by the way, Canada pride.
I'm trying to start turf war.
Yeah, Kamala Khan. No, Kamala. Kamala Khan is from Canada too. Had to represent that. Anyways,
I knew she
what else
had
is from Canada? It's maple syrup. Maple syrup is from Canada. I love maple syrup.
I knew she had a flaw.
It's not cool, bro.
I love the Canadians. But I'm refusing to talk about Miss Marvel tonight only because I have not watched the second episode yet.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'm a little behind too. I started it. But
sorry. I really
if he had watched it, I would say go ahead and spoil this one. I'm not too worried about it.
I'm not saying anything.
I was kind of bummed out, and actually I commented on a Facebook post you made, Andrew, about this, just the number of households that watched Miss Marvel. And no, it was just interesting to me. No, and I was bummed only because when I look back, it's easy to say that people have a problem with the fact that she's a Muslim, and so that they're worried that they may, that some people are turned off by that. But I think it's actually fair to say that Disney really fucking misstepped here and did not promote this show for shit at all.
I have to agree on that.
Like I don't think, and I have a feeling it could be a very big sleeper, and that's what they're trying to do with it, and that would be cool because they say that the next few episodes or a few episodes down the road, it's going to get darker.
Yeah, I just saw that too. So
I'm interested. I'm interested to see what happens. Like I said, that's why I don't want to talk about too much of it yet, because I'm really, I really, and I know we gushed about it last week. I really dug this show, and not, it just, maybe it was the parent-kid thing, like we talked about that a little bit last week, and it just touched a point, something inside me. So I've got an emotional connection to it now. But it's also so well fucking done.
Thank you. I mean,
like
really,
it's the practical effects. Like, look, the practical and the CGI, you can tell they spent a little less money there than possibly they may have with the art, but I'm okay with it. Like, it's not, because it doesn't look hokey.
I want to jump in. So if I can.
Oh,
so
yeah,
another
no,
thing
please,
I want to mention
please.
as well is so that friend of mine, Risky again, I'm shouting you out, talks about a movie called, I think it's called Suspiria, and it's written by done by a director named Dario Sargento, I believe.
Okay, yeah.
So the lighting, all like the purples and the blues and the pinks, like all that stuff in that film, I feel like definitely impacted the look of Miss Marvel. So that's something I think is really cool, and it makes the show different. And then as far as like not really promoting it, I hope one day I work for Kevin Feige. That's all I gotta say. Because right now, I think he's a fucking god. I've been saying it since like 2015. And I think Feige has a personal connection to this show. He probably has a personal connection to the actress herself.
Yeah. Have you read all the stuff between the two of them?
Yeah, they totally like spar.
She's like Feige Jr. Like, she's brilliant when it comes to Marvel. And so she texts him all the time.
Yes.
And she got in trouble.
Yes, for watching.
Was it her own show or what?
No, WandaVision.
No,
it was WandaVision.
He was watching WandaVision on
her phone. Yeah,
and he's like,
it's not meant to be watched on a phone, you kids, or some shit like that. I saw the same thing. I was like, fuck yes, I love that dude.
He wants this show to kind of stand on its own merits, and I think that that's what's happening. I think that it had probably a slow start, but who cares? Because I don't even think
so. Like, I thought it was so fun. And what I think this show
I mean, from viewership,
what this show is, this is like the Spider-Man origin story that we didn't get, right? Like, he's young, she's young, she's got her little group of friends, like she's got powers, she's got to hide, like all that stuff. It's very, very like Spider-Man-ish, but when we got Spider-Man, he jumped right into being, Spider-Man, right? Like, he was the first time we saw Spider-Man was Spider-Man, or like he was Spider-Man, and this, we are getting an origin story. We're seeing her from the very beginning, but it's similar to the Spider-Man type story.
And one thing I also gotta say here for a second is, like, you guys have heard of the term Mary Sue, right? You've heard of that term?
Yeah. Okay. Like Ray from
yes, exactly. So there is no Mary Sue here. That's the other thing. I feel like everything that's happening, and I don't want to spoil anything, but it feels very earned. It's not like she's just this overpowered person from the start at all. There is definitely some struggle. And I think that when you see that like grit and that kind of like figuring shit out and really like fucking up or whatever at first, you appreciate it when they win more. And I think that's like what's happening here. It probably didn't happen so much in, some other situations. And I just got to say right now, I am blown away by the show. And again, even the level of introducing new worlds to us in this show organically and not forced. It's very organic. So that's all I'm gonna say. Well, I'm blown away.
It makes me think of you had a post on Facebook about something about DC and how we were talking about rebooting, because I talk about it all the time. But like, I said, you should start with some low level nobody that is personal, because if you go back to the beginnings of the MCU, you had Iron Man, who was just a dude who happened to be brilliant and could invent shit, right? Like, so he created his suit, he did all that. Thor, when he showed up, they took his powers away.
Yeah.
So they kind of did the reverse. They established him as a super badass, and then Odin was like, nah, you're kind of a dick, dude. So let's deal with that. And then, Cap was nobody. He's a scrawny little kid. And he got juiced up, but at the same time, like, he was doing street level shit. So like the big three all started from a place of being at least relatable, right? Like, and that's DC's biggest problem, is that their best properties are not relatable. Like, no one's fucking Superman. You're just not. Sorry, like.
But I also gotta say something about Superman though, really quick. What I think the thing about Superman though that made him relatable, but maybe not mass appeal. And there's a difference.
He represents Superman, the best in all of us.
You're funny. Superman, he's an alien, like he's an outsider. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's what he represented.
Well, he was originally Siegel and Schuster were Jewish.
Correct.
And Superman is like, he was the supermensch, right? Which is like the super, and so he really was like a Jewish character,
even down to the L in the last name, like all that stuff. It was there. Yeah. So it's like, so he's the outsider. So me personally, I've always, I think we all probably felt like outsiders at some point, but I've definitely felt like an outsider. So it's like, okay, you're not one of them, but you can still absolutely love them and do good shit, and it just kind of inspired me. But honestly, that's not really mass appeal, which is why I think that, Superman was great for like the nerds, so to speak. But now that nerd shit's gone mainstream, you got to tell more stories than just the outsider story.
And that's why Superman, the movie way back in the day, worked, because there were no other superhero movies.
Correct.
So when you had Superman, it didn't fucking matter. It was all about him flying and him being Superman. Like, because that was their tagline. You believe a man can fly. That was the tagline for the movie. And I
think that's great. Part of the problem now, though, with Superman and honestly any of the super powered beings, if you will, is that we've hit a point with CGI and special effects that a dude being able to fly like that is just not that big a deal anymore. Like, it's like I can do that on my iPhone with a green screen and have it look like believable, if you will.
Yeah.
So it's like I need more. If you're going to keep touting superpowers, which I think in Man of Steel they did a very good job with, like, you do really the scope of his power. And you also got and then you got also in fucking Batman versus I feel like that movie's like saying Macbeth in a theater. Like, if you say that on our podcast, you need to like go run around outside, spit 3 times, turn. I'm tempting to
say BBS. Just say BBS.
BBS. Ugh.
I like
the abortion. Yeah,
it's terrible. It's terrible.
I know, that was bad.
No, the movie.
And okay, we'll have to have a debate on that one. I know Andy likes it too, but
see, dude, if that's the company,
fuck Andy. If you're
losing.
Well, no, don't. I mean, that sounded so bad that I said that about fuck Andy like that. I was saying he's not here tonight, but this came up. Fuck it, defend it, and we can defend this again.
I mean, what I really want to do, honestly, though, at the same time, I think it's a good pivot, is I feel like there's a culture war going on between, and I can see both sides. Okay, so the boys, I don't know if you guys are caught up yet.
No,
I feel like what they're
Kevin, how much have you seen?
I haven't even started the season yet.
Okay, so I'll just say, but I think in general, their whole thing is like, no one should have powers, and that power is corrupt, and I don't know if I'm with that. Like, I don't know, and I think that basically, like, The Boys has great entertainment value. I totally get it, but I think that what Marvel Studios does, it's aspirational. It's challenging us to look for the hero within, whereas The Boys is like, we all suck. So no one should have powers because we're all a bunch of fucking cunts.
Well, and it's also the whole absolute power corrupts absolutely, right? Like, it's a good adage to have, because you think everybody's good, but like there's a lot of people out there that are generally good people, but if all of a sudden they could run so fast nobody could see them, the first thing they do goes rob a bank. You know what I mean? Like, if you can get away with it, like, people are gonna do shit. Like, so it's an interesting dynamic. And for the people, it's the same problem that you have when somebody decides to become a cop. There's like 2 kinds of people that become cops: either people that want power or people that want to help people. And unfortunately, it's a lot of people that want power.
And I actually almost jokingly always say, I don't know if I've ever said it on the show before. I might have. I say that 99.9% of dictators ruin it for the 0.01% who do a good job. And like, I'm sorry, like,
it's true. No, I agree with you. You're totally right.
I would do a fucking good job. Let's be real. Like, I know I'd be fucking good. I would, But anyway,
trains run on time, motherfucker.
among other things, like so that's what and I feel like that's what even Captain America, the first film, kind of dealt with, because the doctor was like he needed to make sure he found the right person to give this serum to, because all it does is amplify what's inside of you. So it's a real thing. It doesn't have to be black and white as in like absolutist. Like, yes, are most people pretty good? Yes, but are most people truly good? No. Like, I think that it's a very small minority of people who are truly good, and I think that's what maybe in the Marvel Studios universe, like that's we're lucky that a lot of these heroes just happen to be kind of really good people, but they're flawed, but they're not flawed to the point of being fucking the boys. Like, they're not that
okay bad. So that's one of the things I love about the boys. I'm going to give you some vagaries this season without spoiling anything for you, Kev.
I'm not too worried about it, to be honest.
So I have completely flipped on who I think is the most interesting character in the show, and who I really like. I really, for the first season, I was really into Bill. I thought I'm
Billy Butcher.
Very interesting. I'm like, he's doing a very interesting take on the anti-hero guy, like the reckless guy. Like, I'm really liking to see where his motivations go. It's just, it felt a little different. And a little bit in the second season then too, but also I was really into Huey. And this is also when I started really noticing Homelander. Dude, that character and the way that dude plays him,
yes, it's crazy.
It's like crazy fucking good, Kevin. It only going in this season only ramps fucking up, and he is off the fucking rails, dude, and it's like nutburgery. I think the only thing it's oh my god,
he's gotta go, dude. I love Homelander. He's a fucking asshole, but he crossed the line. Like, in this season, it's like I cannot wait to see him die. Because it's like, okay, you got to go, dude. You were too dangerous now.
But so this is the thing. Then this is the only thing about this show that, because everybody's like, well, it's like, well, this is what would happen if a corporation did this, and this is what if like superheroes were corporatized. I think it might be a little different if superheroes actually existed, if you will, or if they popped up today. I think this would, or if it happened like this, because the minute anybody tried to patent anything like this, it would trigger some shit, and the government would have swooped in and fucking snatched up everything they were doing before they had a chance to fucking go out and like do their little superhero fucking business that they were going to do. There's no way in hell that this would exist.
As in bot, you mean?
Yes. in today's world, like I think it's a great allegory in so many ways for like what corporate America does and puts out there, and that corporate structure and things like that. And I think that's really just the capitalist grind of the American people. Woo! Look at us getting political.
There's another every now and then when I talk about the boys, I remember this comic, and it'd be interesting to see it get done, because I think you could do it now. And it could be animated like Invincible, but it was called Rising Stars. It was written by J. Michael Straczynski, and it was really about like the rise of superheroes. So like in this society, there were no superheroes, and then all of a sudden they started popping up. And I have the entire run somewhere, but if I'm not mistaken, there was like somebody was actually like stealing their powers, like one by one, like one of them, almost like Heroes, where you could kind of collect their powers. But it was super good. It was really good, and I definitely recommend it. Straczynski's a great writer anyways.
Where have I heard that name?
All over. Like he did mostly works for Top Cow right now, but he did a bunch of Spider-Man stuff. I know he was involved in either Marvel Television or the MCU at one point. Here it says live action and network shows. I can tell you. Maybe I can't. But he's done a lot of stuff. So he's done screenwriting, and he did World War Z, the script for that.
Babylon 5, and a spin-off Crusade, and the series Jeremiah.
Okay.
But
Sense8.
Yeah, if you
I
can
think
get your
that's where
hands
I-
on if you can get your hands on the just even the graphic novel of Rising Stars, if there's a graphic novel version of it, it's good. It's really good. Because again, it's kind of similar to The Boys, only take the corporate side out of it. Like these people just all of a sudden were superheroes. And it's a trip. It's good stuff. But like I said, it always kind of reminds me of The Boys because
he was also a story writer on Thor. Sorry, and he makes a cameo in the film. Yeah,
but yeah,
and he helped develop Godzilla versus Kong. Anyway,
yeah.
So yeah, I don't remember how we got to.
Don't know.
By
don't
not being on topic at all.
Exactly, but like I said, it was going to be a loosey goosey night because I had some ideas for tonight. I don't know. It's interesting trying to make it work with on the nights that Andy's not here.
Are you saying Andy is the glue? Please don't tell me that's what you're saying right now.
No, it's just the way the show kind of vibed from the beginning when we were setting it up, and just like the way my mind started working on planning things and numerically just became like that. And so I'm just, I don't know, I'm fucking weird like that. The 3 makes it just a weirder number for me to plan something with.
I'm good. I if it's okay with you, I wanted to talk a little bit about, even though I don't think I'm totally prepared, a little bit about Leah Remini, Scientology, and the aftermath, because, yeah.
This one's a couple years old, right? Like this has been out for a while.
Yeah, it's been out for a while. It actually started on A&E. I want to say in 2016.
So we're going to talk about Scientology.
Is that okay?
Okay, real quick. The views of Andrew are not necessarily the views of all pop culture or its creators. He speaks for bring on Xenu and the Thetans, bro.
All right,
I'm ready to get my audit.
Look, man, I've seen Battlefield Earth. I'm ready to go.
Right?
Okay, then this is gonna be great.
Fucking Battlefield Earth.
So, yeah, I've wanted to watch this show. Please talk about this because I've wanted to watch this show and watch her story for a while now. It's just one of those that like I can never commit to do it because there's so much other shit that I want to watch that I'm like, but this fucking, what is it, Going Clear?
It's called
Going Clear is the other one. That's the one that is not her. I think I actually watched Going Clear, but Leah Remini's is her own.
Okay.
It's specifically her, whereas Going Clear was a broader kind of indictment of Scientology as a whole from inception.
Okay.
So the reason why I even got into this is because, as we all know, like Tom Cruise just had like his second coming with Maverick and is hell up. So then Leah all of a sudden comes out and is like, "Do not be fooled. Don't be fooled by the charm. He's evil. Scientology's evil." So, as anyone who knows me knows, I'm kind of like, I'm not one for the haters. So I'm like, Leah, why are you hating? Like, just can he live? You know? So then I'm like, but you know what? Let me just check this out because people really hate Scientology. Let me see what this is all about. And plus, this is also the reason why I got into it. As people who know me know, I go on these big Magellan walks where I walk for like a good 2-3 hours, explore New York City. Right. And I walk by this building and it's like the New York headquarters of Scientology. It's right across the street from Hamilton. So I'm just looking at the building and going, man, you know, like there's celebrities, like, and I'm pretty curious. Maybe I could be a Scientologist, whatever. So anyway, so I go into that is amazing.
I'm just playing with some Zoom.
No, that is I totally want to do this at some point.
Sorry, I didn't mean. I'm paying attention to you, Andrew, and I just clicked on something.
Please say I'm not a cat, like that fucking, you know, that viral video.
No, I'm Foxy.
Dude, this is amazing. So, by the way, for people who
I'm so ashamed of you as a human being right now.
He is a fox right now. Like you can't see it unless you're watching the YouTube, but he's a fox. Not anymore.
Wait, now here. This one will make Kevin happy. Here we go.
Are you into the cows, Kevin?
No, he just thinks I'm a cow.
Aw.
So I'm a cow in a hoodie.
Cow in a hoodie. All right.
Hey.
So.
Okay, back to what you were saying.
As I was saying, so
I honestly didn't mean to do that. I feel bad.
I turn on this show, And I never watched King of Queens. I will say Sean Connery. I will say that she is not hard to look at, so that helps as far as like watching.
I love Leah Remini. Yeah.
But she has this like total like Brooklyn accent, and she's just so like whatever. I can't even do it. But like but basically, she grew up in the church. Actually, her mom was part of it, and then she was basically a diehard until like maybe I want to say 2008, 2009, escaped. And then this other guy named Mike Rinder, who like is the co-host of the show, and he was like a Sea Org member, and so he was like super high up, and his job was to go out and discredit anyone who was talking badly about the church until he got turned on. So there's a lot of credibility, I think, from the show, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, anytime someone is part of an organization and then they leave, I always wonder, are these just basically the rejects who couldn't hang, so they're bitter and now they're talking about the show, like, or about the organization? So I'm still, my jury is out. But do you know the guy who played okay, you guys saw Rogue One, right? The guy in the white, he was also in Ready Player One. Anyway, that guy, that actor, he needs to play the leader of Scientology, because this guy apparently like beats the shit out of his people. Like literally, they'll be having meetings, like boardroom meetings, and if he gets mad at you, he'll actually like jump up on the table, run over to you, grab your tie, and like smack you in the face and like physically assault you. Like he's a fucking maniac, and him and like Tom Cruise are like buddies, and they're like he's like kind of younger looking.
David Miscavige.
Thank you, David Miscavige. Exactly.
He's been in a ton of shit too.
Oh, you've heard of him?
David Miscavige?
Yeah. He's not an actor.
He's not an actor.
Oh, I'm sorry. No,
you're thinking of Ben Mendelsohn, right?
Ben Mendelsohn is that actor? Yeah, he's in.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Ben Mendelsohn needs to play.
Should play David Miscavige. Yeah, David Miscavige is the freaky guy that took.
As a matter of fact,
he's the one that took L. Ron Hubbard's deal and turned Scientology into what it is at this point. Yeah, correct. No.
But like,
he's
So anyway, I'm talking a lot, but the thing is, like,
tell us. Talk.
Yeah. So but there's just so much more I want to know. So there's 3 seasons of this show. Okay, it goes like, it went from 2016 to 2019. It just got onto Netflix as of I think 2020. So I'm already behind. Okay. But it's like, what I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna watch every episode, because there's like a synopsis of every episode. So right now I'm on the one talking about how David Miscavige took over from L. Ron Hubbard. Like, how did this guy become who he is? And there's gonna be other little episodes. And it ended with a 2-hour like series finale. So yeah, man, Scientology is a trip. I think that people are scared of it, like they don't want to talk shit, and it makes me wonder, like, how much power do they really have? So clue me in. One more thing. I remember back in like, I want to say 2014 or 2015, maybe 2016, someone that I know on Facebook, who shall remain nameless, sent me a private message and was like, "Are you a Scientologist?" And I'm like, "No." Like, why? But real talk, I was like, "You thought I was a Scientologist? Like, cool." Like, I took it as a compliment, because I was like, "Well, celebrity's a Scientologist, so you think I'm a Scientologist?" And she's like, "Well, because I see you like, it's one of your likes on Facebook." So I'm not even tripping off of like, okay, so you're stalking me and looking at what I like. But I'm just kind of like, no, I don't like it. So, okay, good, they're awful people. And I'm just like, okay, well, no, I'm not a Scientologist. But
the thing about Scientology is it does get the rap for being like the celebrity thing, right? But there's a lot of
money.
Yeah, but a lot of that money comes from people that come in off the streets that don't get it. And so, yeah, that don't have the money to give into it, to do it anyways, because it's a cult, like, is what it comes down to. And it is a cult. Like, there's no fucking religion behind it. Like, it's called a religion, but L. Ron Hubbard literally wrote this shit because he wrote fucking pulp science fiction back in the day. That's how he started. Like, his books.
Talk about Battlefield Earth and talk about like your theory as to
I don't ever want to talk about fucking Battlefield Earth.
Okay, so
that is a fucking horrendous film. I'd rather watch The Room.
Battlefield Earth was a brilliant work of science fiction, if we're talking about the book. I know supposedly it's littered with all sorts of Scientology kind of imagery or doctrine.
Sure.
In the same way that like C.S. Lewis threw Christian
Jesus and
dogma, all throughout the Chronicles of Narnia. But with the book was really, it was probably one of the first pieces of hard science fiction that I ever read, and from there I went on to like then I got into some Asimov and things like this, but it just the book is so cool that, forget the Scientology. When the movie came out, I was so disappointed by what they did with the movie that the Scientology aspect of it was so far beyond what bugged me at all, because the movie was so stupid compared to the book. So fucking stupid. And the sad part is it would make a great fucking movie. Especially now. Like the way you do the CGI, and they showed it perfectly with Lord of the Rings by making the little, making the smaller the way they do. And that's what you would do because the Cyclos are so much bigger than humans that you need some scale that well, and it doesn't look hokey. And man, just the way they did the Cyclos was like, they're reminiscent in the book. They're reminiscent of Klingons in the book. But in the movie, they just do a shitty fucking knockoff of Klingons.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like they don't even try to like act like they're not. Like it's fucking stupid. Like you look at them and you're like, give me a fucking break. Like this is so bad. Barry Papar is not bad, but they leave out so much of what makes that character interesting with the stuff of how he learns the facts, and his journeys and experimentation, as he's learning these different things, are kind of what makes the book interesting and fun. And there's a whole lot that happens after they defeat the Cyclos. And what happens there is very, very interesting how they make it work. And there's actually a lot more to that story. This piece of shit movie is part of the reason why I haven't ventured to watch that series Foundation, because I'm afraid of being disappointed, because I really like the Isaac Asimov Foundation series. I've only read a couple of them, but they're good. And it's a different kind of science fiction, so it will turn some people off. It is more of what they call hard science fiction, where there's a lot more based in fact. And that's the thing with Battlefield Earth or Battlefield Earth. There's so much of that book that is all about math. And the fact that because of the way their stuff works, like we're base 10, but the Cyclos use a base, I think it's like base 11 or base 9, like it's something different. So it changes the way you do mathematics, and that's the way they've been able to, figure out how to blah, blah, blah. Anyway, the movie, because it's a movie, you can't play that up, but that's actually part of the more fascinating part of the book, because L. Ron Hubbard in those parts with the math didn't make you feel stupid. It wasn't like you had to have a degree to understand it. There's some Asimov stuff that's very good, but at times you're just like, I don't know the coefficients that you have to work on when figuring out, how fast a foreign body will move in a vacuum when affected on by, and he's got some stuff in some of his books that are like that I don't want to say turn me off a little bit, and I'm beginning to rant here. I got to pull myself back, rein it in. Battlefield Earth could have been a good movie. It was a piece of fucking shit, aside from the Scientology stuff. It was just a bad fucking movie. It was especially a bad fucking movie based on incredible source material.
Can anyone explain how something written by a science fiction author could become a phenomenon that people devote their lives to?
Bro, Star Trek.
No, read or watch Going Clear, because it explains
Fanboys.
it, and I can't anymore.
Fanboys.
But it was all Dianetics, so that was the one that kicked it all off.
You remember those commercials?
Yeah,
it's funny you say that, actually, because the episode that I watched, the second episode, featured the marketing guy who actually came up with Dianetics and was one of the first people to get beat up by Miscavige. So yes, I absolutely remember Dianetics with a volcano and all that shit.
Yep.
They talked about that.
Yep. And that is like the stupid basis for his religion, is that there's fucking aliens in the volcanoes, and the volcano blew up and now everybody's got fucking aliens in them. Like the Thetans, like that's what you're testing for, right?
They were in an interstellar war. They were in an interstellar war with Xenu.
Yeah, and that's no bullshit. Like that's what's in their shit. That's what they believe.
Look,
so when you go in to test,
now,
you grab these fucking rods and to test how many thetans
you
are
get audited.
Yeah. And like it's just fucking bonkers bullshit, but people will buy into bonkers bullshit is what it comes down to. You get them at the right time in the right state of mind, and people will buy into fucking anything.
My issue with Scientology is not the weirdness of their belief, because all religions, when you start breaking down
they're all
their
bonkers.
elements of the base, they're all fucking Looney Tunes fucking bananas. Okay, when you really look at them all, like it's all fucking nutty shit, whether you believe or you don't. If you just like, anyway, so I won't judge them on the fucking aliens and the volcano thing, whatever. It's the secrecy, the cult-like atmosphere, the amount of, I'm sorry, there's tithing, and then there's I'm going to give up all my money. Like there was talk. Did you ever watch Niptuck on FX?
I know the show, but I never watched
it.
I
didn't watch it either, but I know
that is
Dr. Doom's on there.
Yes, that is a great fucking show. An amazing fucking show. And in the later seasons, one of the Doctor's sons gets involved in Scientology. And they do that about the auditing and all that stuff. And it's a very interesting look at it from that perspective. And you see how they do find, like so many of the people they find, that's the thing. They also do things where like maybe people don't have money, but they will take the kind of lost little lambs out there who need a place to go to turn into loyal little foot soldiers.
Got it.
To go do things,
Yeah.
Like there's a very I don't want to say mafia-esque quality to them, but there's
100% based on what I'm watching.
And I think, and and there's a lot of fucking money there.
Yes.
A lot of money. And they've got some very interesting people involved. Like we said, Tom Cruise. There's a lot of people in Hollywood. Like we're gonna be all McCarthy about it. I'm gonna look up a list of fucking Hollywood people in list.
I haven't thought to even do this. And this is great because you're going to totally like.
I'm on a fucking list now. I don't give a shit. List of celebrity Scientologists 2020. All right, let's see. Scientology and celebrities. Wikipedia. Oh, good lord.
Kirstie Alley, Ann Archer, Nancy
Catherine
Cartwright,
Bell.
The Simpsons, dude.
Wow. Erica Christensen. Not surprised. That's why she hasn't been around much. Chick Corea. Jenna Elfman. Oh, I knew that though. Dougie Fresh.
Yo, I didn't know about Dougie Fresh. Isaac Hayes. We know he quit.
Yeah, Isaac Hayes.
Yeah.
Show.
When they killed him on South Park, that was an awesome episode.
Chris and Rapist Masterson.
Creative
Elizabeth Moss. That's right, Giovanni Ribisi.
Elizabeth Moss. I didn't know about Elizabeth Moss. Holy shit. That's crazy. Even though she's like all like, what's that damn show with the women getting
Handmaid's Tale?
Thank you. Like,
oh, you didn't know that about her? Yeah, she kind of lost, and she is a very important character to me on West Wing. And she kind of lost some cool points with me for this. Although, at its base, here's the thing, and this is what I think you kind of get from, or at least what I've heard is, there is the belief, but there's also the kind of thing with any kind of religion. This could be like, I have family relative members who got into like Landmark Forum.
What is that?
Have you guys ever heard of that? It's like the Tony Robbins type shit.
Oh, that's whatever.
Right. You go to seminars, you do your thing. It's not my kind of thing, but for them, it worked amazing things. It's what it is one of those things that has, I think, in a lot of ways, structured their life and made them this part of help make them the success that they are, in their life. So I'm not going to knock the actual thing. Even though I fucking bust on them every chance I get when we're together, because that's what family does. But I think there's a lot of that kind of shit in Scientology actually at its base when you get to certain levels, because when you buy like the $10,000 level to get up, and all of a sudden you get more knowledge and indoctrination and you get into more classes, I think that's what a lot of that is you level up to certain things, and they give you it's I don't know. You watch the show. I'm very interested in watching it. I've watched a little bit about Scientology. It's fucking batshit weirdo stuff to me, like you said, Kevin, just because of the weirdness of just fucking icky and creepy, cultish. I don't like it. No bueno, which is a bummer because I love Giovanni Ribisi.
Yep. Yeah, that's a heartbreaker.
He's actually in that show that I'm talking about constantly now, The Offer, on Paramount Plus.
I keep hearing about this one. I even heard of it at work this past week, so I am going to finally watch it.
See, the word
dude loves The Godfather, so yeah.
The word is finally, it's starting to get out a little bit about this show. I'm telling you, I don't know why. It's, again, I don't want to say it's like Ms. Marvel. It's not. It's not fucking Emmy winning. I'm not gonna say it's like that caliber thing. It's really, really fucking good though, and it's got some big names in it. You got Miles Teller, you got Juno Temple, Dan. You've got a bunch of little people littered throughout. Paul Crane is in there. What's his Buck's son, or Tom Hanks' son? Not Chet, but the other one.
The one who was on. I know you're talking about the one. One actually looks like him.
Yeah,
the older one.
Colin.
Yeah.
Colin. Yeah, Colin Hanks, who I love. He's fucking good in everything he does.
I actually like him a
lot. Without being like out there. He has found his niche though. He's not the actor that his dad is in some ways, and I feel bad because he obviously he's been compared from the minute he fucking
from the second he showed up.
I think he did like Garden State. I think it was or something. There was some movie he did, like one of his first movies was where they were trying to like get somebody's college fucking transcripts back or something.
Yeah, I forget what that one was, but I saw that one. He's great in it too. But
he was, but it's a he does different stuff, but he's found his niche.
It's so unfair though. Like you compare him to his dad, but his dad did fucking Bosom Buddies. So I mean, come on, which I love because I love, but it was a different thing.
And this though is what tells me that Colin could go into some other things, but his vein is squarely in comedy. He was on a show called Life in Pieces.
Yeah.
Which is fucking brilliant. It's one that never got a lot of play. It was on for 4 or 5 seasons, I think. It was really, really funny. Another amazing cast show. Dan Bachdahl is fucking hilarious in that show. Anyway, but yeah, The Offer. Watch it.
Done.
It's good. It's starting to get out. I'm telling you, especially if you like The Godfather. I mean, do you guys know anybody who doesn't like The Godfather?
Nope.
Do you know anybody who hasn't seen The Godfather? Like younger people not included yet, who just haven't been turned on to it?
I don't think so. I think anybody that knows film at this point, has seen The Godfather. I don't. It's been a long time since I've seen it. Like I can't.
I want to rewatch.
I can't explain Godfather beginning to end, but
we may watch it tomorrow for Father's Day, only because the season finale, and in fact the series finale of The Offer, just dropped. And it's kind of cool because they gave it's neat, and they talk about this because Adam Arkin directed most of them, and they talk about it after the end of this one, that it was kind of cool doing it knowing that this was the end. Like this is where it ended. Maybe they'll have another project like this if you can find another book that it was based off of. But you tell the story. It's like boom, The Godfather wins the Oscar that it won. It's the success that it is. And Paul Ruddy goes forward and he does this, and this is the way the story's told out, right? And that's it. It's the end. There's no next season. There's no this. And I think this is the perfect example, and we've said this several times now, how this TV medium of doing these 8 to 10 episode seasons, or a show that you say, you know what, this is what I need 20 episodes to tell a story. They're going to be an hour long, but I want to do 2 seasons. Let's do it like that. Boom, 10. And you do it and you say, this is the end. This is the story I'm telling, and kill it. that's a brilliant way to do it, and you're going to be able to pull in bigger, better actors. You'll still be able to break lesser known actors, but if you can tell, I mean, let's pick someone. Let's be real. Like fuck it. Well, like he's done it, but like Tom Hanks or something. If you can go, it's going to be fucking 10 episodes. You're going to film from this point to this point, basically like you're filming a movie. It's just going to be fucking 3 times as long because we're filming a ton of shit here. He can go and do that because he can block that time and still do other movies and things like that. And I think we're going to start seeing a lot more big names because there really are. Like,
got Al Pacino in Hunters, right? Like,
yes, which was a good one. I
like that show.
It was cool. Hunters was fun. It was way graphic. I don't think it's getting another season. Like I think it's done. So I think they just canceled it, which is kind of a bummer because I liked where they ended it off.
Yeah,
the
kind of
premise that they were
spot,
building.
Yeah,
it was kind of cool. But yeah, the offers it's just a good watch. Especially if you like The Godfather. I mean, if you've seen The Godfather and you even appreciated it, this movie's really cool because you get to see everything that went on to get it made. And it's told, and you actually get to see him. If you watch some of the post-credit stuff, it's told from the perspective of the producer Paul Ruddy, who actually won the Oscar, and that's who Miles Teller plays. But it's based on his book. He was involved in the creating of the show. He actually does some of the behind the scenes talk at the end, a little prologue that they'll do, or like postscript kind of thing. He'll come on and he in the first couple, he does some interviews. So, he's a real person. These stories that they're portraying to us, while obviously, you can't capture an exact conversation from the fucking 70s at this point, but it's pretty accurate. Or it's accurate that you don't feel like it's bad. But then again, he's also a Hollywood producer, so he knows what the fuck to get away with and what's going to sell, and he'll make some money off of it. But yeah, The Offer. It's really worth to see it. I think now that it's done, I think it's gonna build up a little bit more steam because you can actually watch all 10 episodes now. You're not waiting week by week, and I think it is one of those shows that would it's helped in some ways, if you will, by binge. It's a bingeable show because it is only 10 episodes, and they work right on top of each other like that. Like it's anyway. Yeah, I can't think of anything. I can't think really. Oh yeah, no, that's I kind of went the weird route this last kind of week or so. I've been the fam is home for summer, and I am home at the moment. So a lot of the TV that I used to get to watch by myself all the time, that I wanted whenever I could, is not there anymore. So I've been watching a lot of other programs. We're getting along. We're chugging through Stranger Things, my oldest and I. So really liking it. I'm loving the shit out of it.
Please tell us like what you're thinking, because I mean, like,
so we're like season 3 episode at this point. I'm pleasantly surprised at how good the show keeps getting. I don't know what happens, but I have been told that season 3, if you will, is kind of the third. It's a little less action heavy. Not that the other 2 were very action heavy, but the season 3 is more about character development, which I'm cool with because that's actually what I find more interesting in this show. Is those aspects of it are these kids and what they're going through, and the adults in their lives, like the actual characters themselves and what's going on, then some of the special effects, if you will. Like the monsters are cool, but like it's nothing. There's honestly nothing super terribly cool about them. Like the Demogorgon's a very interestingly designed character, but it's obvious like all of it's very Giger inspired. Like you can feel that all over the place with the way everything from the Upside Down fucking works with all the little vines and tendrils and all that shit. And the weird creatures, the demo dogs, but it's really, really cool. I love what Steve has become. He's becoming the plucky comic relief. Steve, not that you didn't I don't want to say you hated him in the first season, but he
But
was kind
he's
of a
not very
dipshit. He was a
likable.
dick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hated him the first season.
See, I didn't hate him, but like, yeah, he's not likable. Like, he's kind of he's the douchey high school boyfriend.
Yeah.
Right. Um, he's easily him, and like I said, so far I'm in just in the beginning of season 3 now, but fucking his and Dustin's relationship, when Dustin comes back from camp and rolls into the fucking ice cream shop, that is the cutest fucking shit ever. And I love Robin.
I was saying
hope Robin continues to be a character, because she's just like, how many kids do you know? Like,
right.
she's fucking on. And I'm like, okay, if we're gonna give Steve a love interest, please let it be this girl. I know it's like contrived and very, like, rote to do that. I don't care. That is what's fun about this show too, is that it takes the story very seriously, but it doesn't necessarily take it very seriously, in as much as you're dealing with a lot of kids, and the Duffer Brothers have found a very good way to still have a lot of whimsy and delight of childhood that's in there. It's funny because I'm watching it with my daughter, and she's around the age of some of these kids, and so it's very interesting, just like the Elle and Mike, like the goofy kissing makeout stuff that they were doing. It's just fun. The show is really, really good. I'm enjoying everything that's happening. Hopper is an amazing character. I find myself going back and forth with him, though, where I like him, but I don't like there's times when I don't like Hopper, where I'm just like, he's just a little too, like, they're almost trying to make him the 80s TV dad, or they're trying to help kind of fit him into that mold. And it's clear that that's not him, but I don't want to say they almost lean into it too much. Like, there's almost a tinge at times when you look at him where you're just like, no, you're not the cool dad from the 80s show. You're actually like the weird alcoholic dad from the 80s show that, like, you don't hate.
So everything that you're saying is reminding me of like what I said about season 3, I think on the last show, which was, I felt like this was like the experiment season where they were trying to just try some new things. And I think that maybe what you're referring to is like how I think by this point you're seeing that he's getting a little freaked out by the fact that Eleven's growing up and she's starting to like,
yeah.
And I think that's what you're referring to. But I think the good news is, and I think Kevin will agree with me, is that certainly by season 4, they figured out what they're doing with their characters. But season 3 is where they're kind of, things are kind of, they're trying these different pegs and holes and seeing like what fits and everything. And I think that's what you're talking about here with Hopper.
It's fun. Hopper. I don't get me wrong, I do like him. I love the character. I love David Harbour. I'm just saying, as a character, I do, maybe like's not the right word, how much I empathize with her, or how much, like, I dig on her. I think it's also very cute how they handle this kind of coming of age romance stuff with these kids. Like the episode I just finished, I think it is 3 that we just finished, and it's the one where Hopper has now talked to Mike, and so Mike lies to Elle, and so they go to the mall, and then my daughter, was so cute, and this is the other way I know it's a good show, because we're watching it and Elle shows up at Max's house, and Max is just like, what the fuck, this girl doesn't like me, and Elle's like, I need your help, and then boom, it's like girl chat in the room, and Max is just like, fuck that bitch, let's go to the mall, and it was just fun, and she was like, the minute that started happening, she's like, oh good, Elle needs a girlfriend, like, this is good. And I'm sorry, it's that these child actors are so good. Lucas and Max are hilarious.
You just gave me a thought. Okay,
I dump your ass.
The 80s, okay. The 80s was so big on like adding new characters, but the new characters would suck. And basically, it's like, okay, this is how we know the show has jumped the shark, right?
Right.
So whether it was like the Different Strokes with like the new kid, I think his name was Sam or something, or like Growing Pains, or even Family Ties. Every time they added like a new
wait, you can go farther back than that. Go to Cousin Oliver on the Brady Bunch.
And again, I didn't even watch Baby Bunch, but I believe you, right? Whereas I feel like with Stranger Things, these Duffer Brothers guys, they bring on these new characters and they're actually dope. Like, I think Max is just going to get doper to you. Just watch.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, I love Max. I love Max from the minute she stepped on the scene.
Yeah.
I was into Max. I was like, oh, this chick is cool. Like, I love, this is because you've got Elle, who's a great character. Great, really going well. You've got Joyce, who's a fucking basket case. Finally. I love her. I love Winona. I'm not the biggest Winona Ryder fan. I love her in this.
Yes.
I think she's fucking great.
Because she's playing herself in a lot of ways.
I know. You've got Nancy, who is a very interesting character. She's a very strong, powerful young woman. Like, I dig the character because she's just where she's at in life and what she's kind of taking on. It's really cool, and it's very different, actually. And this is what's kind of cool about it. Here we go, representation talk. I'm about to get woke. But again, it's interesting watching with my 15-year-old daughter. So I'm getting to see things and talk about things with her through a different set of eyes. And the Nancy character is interesting because I can remember strong women in shows from the 80s and the 90s. But other than like Xena, or some stuff like that, there was still always an aspect of the man helping in some way. Any strong female character, the guy always helped. Nancy just does not give a fuck. No. And between her and Jonathan, I would rather have Nancy with that bat than Jonathan with that bat.
They are a couple in real life, yeah.
Oh, are they?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah.
But Steve is becoming fun. Billy, like, you hate him the minute he's on fucking screen.
A long fall from Red Ranger.
Yeah, no shit, right?
He actually was he's actually, I think, kind of rumored to be in the running for Wolverine as well. That actor, Dockery Montgomery, I think his name is.
Yeah.
Dockery, yeah.
He'd be interesting.
Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to that. My only thing, now I'm gonna sound like I'm getting really fucking nitpicky, but I'm getting really fucking nitpicky. He doesn't have the jawline
for Wolverine does?
To me. If Radcliffe, well, here's the thing. If Radcliffe's ripped, first off. But if Radcliffe is going to play Wolverine the way he needs to play Wolverine, he needs to put on another 15 pounds of muscle.
He can do it.
I think he can too. I think he needs some bulk. Like
that's fine. I don't want to do real conversation. We'll keep it to Stranger Things though. Okay.
Yeah, but that's that's cool. Billy, you fucking hate him, and this weird doppelganger thing, and the almost affair part. I mean, I don't know if that ever comes back up again. Part of me hopes it does, because part of me really wants it to actually happen, in a weird way. Only to make. No, you know what? Actually, now that I think about it, I really don't want it to happen. I like what the mom said about hurting her family, only because I feel like, other than maybe Hopper and Joyce are very good people, and Mike's parents have their own shit going on, but I feel like that's the only because Lucas's parents are stable too. You've only got 2 sets of stable parents for all these kids.
Yeah.
Joyce, and it's not a shot at a single mom kind of thing, but it's so she's also a basket case. Like, she's making ends meet for her kids.
I totally forgot about that whole plot point. So I bet you they were even wondering, should we do this? Should we do this? And they were like, anyway. Nothing.
Yeah.
Spoiled. All right, moving right along. Sorry, I just got excited.
No. I dig it, but I am digging the shit out of this show so far. Like, I really, really am. I'm happy to be chugging through it, as the case may be.
Good, because season 4 is gonna knock your socks off.
That's what I've heard.
And July 1st is when we get the conclusion of season 4. And wait, Kevin, did you finish it yet? Did you get to 7?
To 7. There's 7 episodes in the first.
Maybe there's only 5. Okay.
I think there is. I think there is 7.
I think there is 7 too. Let me just triple check.
Yeah, only because I remember looking at it, because they're all like an hour 15, except for the last one's like an hour 38 or something, and like
no, there is 7. Jesus Christ.
This is a perfect example, though. Stranger Things.
And then 8 and 9 are the ones that drop.
Correct. So 7, I mean, I can tell you the title of it, right? I can tell you the title.
It's The Massacre.
Yeah.
Dude, look, I don't know if you can see. I just got chills again. Like, I'm telling you.
Like Red Wedding style?
Episode 7, by the end of episode 7, like I said, fragments. Like, your skull explodes. Yeah, your skull explodes twice during that fucking episode, and you're like, holy shit, what the fuck did I just watch? Like, I'm telling you, I know you guys have seen a lot of things, but you will be impressed. Now I'm overhyping it, but you will be impressed. You didn't see it coming. You saw maybe one of the things coming, but not both of them, and that's why this show is getting as much love as it is. All right, so get on that shit, guys, because I can't enjoy this alone. I need some.
Oh no, we're getting there. We're getting through it.
Right.
But yeah, so I'm totally on board the Stranger Things fucking wagon on this one. I'm there. I'm hooked. I'm in.
Good.
The interesting thing is I've actually, I don't know why, but I went back and I just got locked in for like a couple of days, that like when I was watching anything, and half the time you just listen to it, you don't necessarily need to watch it. I went back and watched a lot of Hot Ones. That show is fucking addictive, and he's gotten some really cool people on there. And I gotta say, whenever anybody, like when this conversation comes up and somebody who's never seen it, and they're always like, oh, Hot Ones is just, if somebody was going to suggest to you, like right now, right, like, okay, which episode of Hot Ones should I start with? What's the one that's gonna, what episode would you tell them that you think is gonna get them hooked on Hot Ones?
Kevin Hart.
Yep.
Dude, because that fool cannot fucking hang. And like,
it's so funny.
It's so funny because
the hot sauce one?
The Hot Wings, yeah.
So you've got that one, and then the flip side of that is Charlize Theron, who is like the whitest chick ever. And she's just like
gangster son.
Yeah, she's just like, no, just bring them all on.
Yeah.
She's
Gordon
like,
Ramsay's good shit too.
Dude, he is fucking pissed by the end of that thing. He's
yeah.
like, what the yeah.
DJ Khaled's one of, I think, 5 people who didn't finish. He only gets through like 3 and then leaves.
Didn't Olsen do it too, and she was okay with it? Elizabeth Olsen?
I think so.
Yeah, I haven't watched.
And Millie Bobby Brown was just on too.
Yeah,
like she was just on.
They're getting some. It's now that we're post-COVID, they're getting a lot bigger talent again. Like it's fun to go on.
Mm-hmm.
For a minute there. And I mean, some of it was niche. You were only getting like, for a minute, it was just like people from the NBA and like slightly obscure rappers and musicians, and people were just kind of like, who the fuck are these guys? Okay. And that's one of the things I love about Sean Patton. I think, no, it's not Sean Patton, whatever the guy's name is. I forget his name now. He comes out, and even when he doesn't know a lot about the people, and he'll admit not to knowing a lot about the people, he still comes at it like with the little bit of research he's done. He's like, so I don't know that much about your storied career, but when you were 12, your mother beat you with a shoe out back of a fucking Wendy's. How did that shape the next 40 years of your life? Where you're just like, the fuck did the researchers get this information? Like, he's got some random shit like that, and they're all fun questions and things. So yeah, I've been randomly watching a lot of that. Like, it's just been fun, and some other just stupid, like, I'm getting I find myself getting sucked into TikToks and Reels on, oh god.
Have you tried balls? Like having them?
Did you time that to when he drunk something? Because like he literally almost like spit all over the mic.
That would have made my night.
No, it takes a lot to get a spit take out of me. But that's yeah. Fuck you.
It came close, apparently.
Yeah, no. Let's see. Have I watched anything else? No. Moving on. We should. You know what? we could shift gears.
Well, I want to know what's with the backdrop.
Oh, Kevin, yeah, that's right.
I was going to talk about Fringe too, because I started rewatching that, and so I'll go quick because I'm in my rewatch. I'm only in the first season right now, but
you got plenty of time, homie.
But Fringe was super cool. Fringe was like, it was right after Lost, and it really rode the coattails of Lost because it was J.J. Abrams' like next big thing. Okay. And because Lost was so big, the first 2 or 3 episodes, Fox aired without commercials. Like they were so hyped about the show and so that the first like 2 or 3 episodes aired with no commercials, and they were like the full hour long. Like it was super long, it was super good.
Okay, I remember seeing commercials for this. Hit me with the basics on Fringe.
It like really, it was the modern X-Files. So the idea is that it's more scientific, right? So X-Files was the monster of the week, and the first episode has a very monster of the week feel. But
God, X-Files did monster of the week so fucking well.
Right. And so Fringe has that at first, but what it turns out is that you come to find out that the FBI is studying this thing called the pattern, and it's weird shit that's happening around the world that seems to be related to fringe science. And there was one guy named Walter Bishop who was an absolute genius, and
played by the brilliant John Noble.
Yes, John Noble is the man.
That's what I was trying to. That's the name we were trying to remember.
Yeah, and so they need to bring him back, but he went crazy in like the 80s or 90s. Like he lost his shit. Okay. And so they need him to come, kind of out of retirement to help them track down some of the shit in these cases. And he's in a mental institution, and the only person that can get him out is his son, played by Pacey from Dawson's Creek. Joshua Jackson. There you go. And
I got your IMDb pulled up, dude, because I'm scanning through this, because this amazes me, because Joshua Jackson, like, you think he hasn't done a ton of shit, but he did like obviously Dawson's Creek, which was that show
never watched a minute of it.
Got a couple hundred episodes in it. I've watched a couple episodes. It's fun. It's your basic 90210 teeny drama for the time. Like it's not.
It was Katie Holmes and him, and
There's nothing. Honestly, there was nothing.
It launched a lot of careers, is what it was. It launched.
Felicity. No, absolutely.
There was nothing.
Her own show, actually.
There was nothing special about it. The only one recently that I've started watching that has been kind of different when it comes to that kind of genre, especially with that time period, was Gilmore Girls, because you can tell the writing on it is as amazing as it is. We kind of paused. We're going to go back to that, and my daughter and I watch that one.
Yeah, I actually want to watch Gilmore Girls, because Gilmore Girls is
the chick that did Miss Maisel.
Well, it's Miss Maisel for like the family set, right? Like
it's really good. Oh my God, Heather Graham is not
Heather. Not Jennifer Graham. Fuck. Now you said Heather Graham, I lost it. Heather Graham is Roller Girl.
Yeah. Oh, what is her name? Jesus Christ. You know who I'm talking about.
Yep, sure do. But yeah, Gilmore Girls is like it is Miss Maisel for the family set. Like it's the same dialogue, just it's clean and and all that. So I actually really want to watch that show. Lauren Graham, there you go.
And Alexis Bledel.
But back on topic on Fringe.
Yeah, well, this shit. I was gonna say it's got Pacey, Joshua Jackson on it, who is interesting because this dude now has done a couple of shows that like he's eating on for the rest of his life. Realistically, like residuals on both of those, he's doing great on.
Yeah,
100 episodes of this fucking show, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was still in that time frame where shows were 20 something episodes a season. So Fringe is 5 episodes. The one thing that was really great about Fringe that even Lost didn't have, and that even Stranger Things doesn't have, is that it seems like it always knew where it was going. So it has a beginning, a middle, and an end. It ends perfectly. Like the ending is is so like beautiful and brilliant and heartbreaking in its own way. And there's a lot of things about the ending that are just so fucking good. And the acting is always fantastic.
There's a lot of people on this show, a lot of fucking like people who have gone on now to do a lot of really cool stuff. Like you've got Lance Reddick in here.
Well, he was on Lost before this.
Yeah.
In a small part, and was he on The Wire? Or was he in Oz?
Oz.
I think he was one of those two.
He was Oz.
So he'd been around.
The undercover cop.
Yeah.
In Oz. Yeah.
Yeah. So he'd been around.
Oh, well, then speaking of Oz, you've got Kirk Acevedo.
Yep.
Who was in Oz. Yeah, there's a Mark Valley who's been in a bunch of stuff.
He's been around
Leonard Nimoy did 11 episodes of this show.
Oh, and to plug, he's a huge deal on that show. But Anna Torv is the main character, the main female character, and she's great because she is not like your female wave type character. Like she's a badass. Like she's very Scully-esque, when you're talking about the X-Files, right? Like she's a badass. She's dope. And but she is going to be on the Last of Us TV series on HBO, which I'm super stoked about.
Oh, okay, cool. Because I'm looking at what she's done since,
and she was on Mindhunters, which is fucking amazing. Mindhunters was Netflix, I think, and that was basically a study of the when the psychologists effectively discovered serial killers. Like the serial killer wasn't a term for a very, very long time. And then these folks came in and they were profilers, and they kind of decided that they created the term serial killers, and they studied these people that
they found the indicators.
And so they started to break it down.
The indicators. Oh, cool. That actually looks really good.
That show's hella good.
Right now. And that's another one that's got a ton of people in it. I mean, Jonathan Groff, Jesus.
Yep. So Fringe, I will tell anybody anytime to go watch it. It's probably one of my top 5 shows. I think, as a matter of fact, when we did our top 5 shows episode way back in the beginning, Fringe is in my top 5 list for sure. It's just great. And like I told you before the show, like John Noble, I met him. He's like the nicest dude. I have an autographed picture of him from when I got to shake his hand, sit down, talk to him for a second. So he's super dope.
Nice.
But then
when you hear somebody has like a good experience meeting a celebrity,
I
always like to hear that, because you don't hear that a lot. I mean, it's the same people, like when Chris Evans goes dressed as Captain America to a cancer ward. It's that kind of shit that you always hear, which is great. I'm not saying none of that is good, but you don't you hardly ever hear about people's stories. They're always like, oh my god, he was a dick, she was a total bitch. It's never like, oh my god, meeting them was like they were the nicest person ever,
you just take the Tom Hanks thing from the other day. Like Tom Hanks is the nicest guy on the planet. Like everybody knows, like everybody loves. But like if you didn't know that, and the first interaction that you had with Tom Hanks was him going off on that dude that bumped into his wife, you'd be like, yeah, he's kind of a dick. But he's not, dude. He was in a shitty place, having a shitty time. And if you watch that video, like he's trying to catch up to his wife because everybody has cut in front of him. And so he gets up there, and then the dude that hits him was like, oh, what the fuck happened? Like, like it's this whole comedy of errors. And of course he was pissed. Like, I mean, come on. Like Tom Hanks is allowed to get pissed once in a while. But there's a lot of people, like, and they say that, like, if you meet your heroes, be warned that, dude, they could just be having a shitty day. You could meet the nicest person, and they could tell you to fuck off because you just caught them at the wrong time.
I don't think Tom Hanks could do anything short of like wearing a Nazi uniform that would make people like
turn on him. Yeah.
Turn on Tom Hanks. Like it could come out like they could be like, it could turn out that he's got like dead bodies in his freezer, and people are like, oh my god, Tom Hanks was a secret serial killer. But I loved him in Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
Like, you know what, though? They'd be okay with it. I have a theory on that. I think it depends. I think that, fuck it, I'm going for it. So I think the one thing I will say is I think that on the political spectrum, okay, the further kind of like left you go, the less loyal I think your audience gets. And the further right you go, the more loyal your audience gets.
I will agree with you on that. Yes.
Yeah. So I think that, because Tom is kind of straddling that fence, I think if Tom were to like basically do something wrong, the people further to the left will cancel his ass immediately. And the people on the right are the ones who are gonna be like, I love Forrest stuff, gosh golly, And I feel like that's what happens. So I feel like it just depends on what your audience is.
I could see that. Well, it also would depend on what it would be. Like, what do you think? Here's an interesting subject. Topical change point. Before Kevin goes on to here's a super tangent. What do you think could take down, like, legitimately, what's the least amount in today's world that could take down like a Tom Hanks?
Anything
like Tom what?
Anything sex related, you're done. Like anything.
You know what though? Like
no, I don't know. Like,
he could have affairs and people would be like, wow, what a dick, but probably shouldn't have done that, but it's Tom Hanks. You know what I mean? Like, I think he wouldn't get canceled, but people would be disappointed. Yeah. But like canceled, I mean, you're talking, it'd be bad shit, like shit you don't want to say. You know what I mean? Like that's what it would take. Like legit, like
Law and Order
Tom Hanks. Yeah. Like
no, it would have to be like child porn or something like that.
Like misconduct though, like like an assistant. Like maybe he was like. Sexual harassment.
But it doesn't matter. Like, do somebody come out and be like, Tom Hanks chased me down and showed me his dick, and people would be like, she's probably full of it. Maybe he just like I really think if it happened once, he'd be fine. I'm serious. I'm serious. Like, because nobody hates him. People would be like, that girl's probably lying. She's probably friends with Amber Heard. Like, it would be like, it'd be bad, like. And sure, he'd get in some trouble or whatever, but he wouldn't.
Alone. No, I'm joking.
No, yeah. You know what? Hold on. Actually, we're gonna go on a tangent off a tangent, and we're gonna get back to Kevin, because the Amber Heard thing, we have not talked about this. The Amber Heard and Johnny Depp on this show at all. And the only thing I want to say about it at all, and you guys can chime in if you want, or just leave my little drivel as it is. I think we're giving Amber, and I love all the memes too, I think we're giving her a little bit too hard a time to some degree. She's batshit crazy, don't get me wrong. Somebody had posted something about like just kind of abuse and things in relationships like that. I think they're both incredibly toxic and never should have been together. Like, she alleged abuse. Agreed. He did abuse. I think that was just a case of two people who were a fucking train wreck. Because if you actually, like, the problem was throughout that trial, all the shit that came out about her that she did was like off the walls kind of wacky stuff, like shitting on the bed and things like that. Like, he like just had a lot of really bad texts. And although there was a lot in some of those texts that you could see it was kind of rough if you were married to someone like that. It wasn't as sexy as somebody shitting on a bed.
Hey, here's where she lost me completely. Like, where I must go, like, you know what? You dodged a bullet, dude. You're good.
When she literally shit the bed?
No, when she goes, after everything was all said and done, trial's over. Yes, absolutely. I love him. I loved him with all my heart. And I tried the best I could to make a deeply broken relationship work.
I know. I
have no bad feelings or will towards him at all.
It's that and just watching the shit she did on the stand. Like,
I know.
Not only was acting, but she was bad acting. Like,
yeah. Oh, God.
Like it would shift like instantly. And there was like at least 2 jurors that came out and were like, dude, we couldn't believe her. They literally said like her personality was impossible to trust. Because she would go from stone cold to crying to stone cold again in like, yeah.
She's also, though, if you go back before Johnny Depp, she also, there was a lot of stuff with her with, I don't want to necessarily say mental illness, if you will, but some interesting behavior before that I don't think it was that hard to believe like her stuff with Johnny was that off the wall.
I'll say though, I was at a dinner. I think it was like a Greek Easter dinner, which is like a month later, Orthodox. And this came up, and it definitely was funny because whenever we do these dinners, we always talk about the shit we're also talk about, like politics, everything else. But this came up, and it was definitely got a little bit divisive. Like, I think some of the people at the table were absolutely like, why is Johnny not getting as much heat as Amber? Like, this is sexist or whatever, and I knew to be quiet in certain points, but like, I'm just like, no, like this not shit. I don't think this is a sexism thing at all. I think that Amber was banking on the fact that because he's a guy, like he was going to get shit out of the stick, and it completely backfired on her.
Yes,
so
I think you're right there too. I also think he had some really good fucking lawyers, and she had some just
I heard she had like a
fucking
backwoods like garbage lawyer that didn't know what the fuck they were doing.
Yeah,
like
there was
didn't at one point didn't the guy like object to his own question?
Yeah, like something ridiculous.
Yeah, you're like, I don't think you've done this before. Like, this is some My Cousin Vinny shit, but in the real world. Like it's. So
I hope they do recast her. I hope that they get it was a fantasy thing, fan cast, but like maybe a Blake Lively or somebody. But then someone else was like, dude, is this movie even worth like recasting? Like, do we even know if it's going to be any good? Probably not.
Just cut her out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are we even making the movie at this point? I'm sorry. I feel like Ezra Miller has just ruined that entire
DCU, dude.
But don't worry, the sequel to The Joker is going to be a musical. I'm not even making that up. That is the rumor right now.
Wait, are you serious?
The Joker Todd Phillips is making a sequel with Lady Gaga, and it's going to be a fucking musical. I'm done.
Yeah, like
The Boys had a musical moment, but it wasn't even that bad. Anyway.
Yeah, I read that and I'm like, and I'm a fan of musicals, like but I get where in the right context done exactly right, it could work, but I mean, you're talking about perfection to make it work, and that's like striking gold twice, right? Like the first movie was so good and so perfect the way that it was.
Okay, I got to be honest with you here. No, go ahead. Sorry.
Dude, I think it's gonna be bad. That's what I gotta say. And I love Gaga. But
I don't disagree, but it's actually there is something all of a sudden just reading this one. I Googled it, and I know it's on We Got This Covered. So take it for what it's worth.
Oh,
that's garbage. Burn that shit right now.
Well, no. It just said fascinating Joker
robot, and that one, do not trust. Any.
No. It says fascinating Joker 2 theory explains why it's going to be a musical, and I was
because he's in the institution. He's already in the institution.
Well, that's the interesting because it is, the screenplay is Joker Folie à Deux, and Gaga is going to play Harley Quinn.
Yep.
Right.
And it's supposed to be, like still a thriller and this from this. I don't, especially if they're kind of in Arkham, everything else, or
I don't think there is an Arkham though. I think, based on the first one, it's just a mental hospital.
True. It could, but it could just be very, it could just be a complete red herring. That they're throwing out, and it's complete bullshit. I don't know. After having watched the first one, I'm very interested to see it. Oh my god. Ugh. Did you know that they're doing a live action Hercules Disney?
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
Yes.
Do you know who's directing it?
Is it Guy Ritchie?
Guy Ritchie.
Yes.
Very interesting.
He did Aladdin, so he's in now.
Hercules was really that was a good movie though. It's a slept on one of the Disney movies.
That's all right. Give me Hunchback. Hunchback's my favorite animated Disney film. You won't find better music in a Disney film than Hunchback.
Oh, you know what? Okay. That, for a movie aimed at kids, I'm not going to disagree with you on that, but I will say...
That movie was not for kids.
The Esmeralda sequence with the... Wowzers! You know who actually brought that up to me, and I had never watched Hunchback at that point, was actually when we were doing Phantom of the Country Opera, and I was dating Natalie. She made me watch it because I hadn't watched it yet. And my little brother Frankie was about that age where a different fucking Disney movie than what's available out there. This one's, Hunchback's out there. And I watched that shit and I was like, God damn. This was a very interesting choice, because I had forgotten the entire story of the Hunchback of Notre Dame. I remember seeing the old black and white movie fucking years ago.
Yeah.
dude, that's a kind of a well, first off, the animation in it is fucking really, really good.
Yep.
Like it's kind of like it's visually fucking stunning in so many ways.
You're post all those films that kind of built that, right? Because it comes after Little Mermaid, it comes after Lion King, comes after Aladdin. So it's built on all of those. And it has a more gothic style to it. It's darker.
Yes.
So like
the CGI really that they use in it, like the little bit of CGI, like because Beauty and the Beast kind of broke that CGI, you know, and regular animation mixed together when they did the ballroom scene. No, exactly. Aladdin, same thing. The Hunchback used the CGI very well for what it did. It literally didn't do it for anything that didn't need it, just because it was there. Like it really, like, I feel like if I remember it correctly, the only time they ever really use CGI is when you need to see is the stuff with the cathedral, like the big wide exterior shots and the motion that he goes through for that setting, especially the exterior stuff. Hunchback is not for kids though at all.
No, dude, she's not a gypsy. She's a straight up whore.
And there's this real weird, like, they don't come out and do it, and I don't remember again the original story, but there's this whole musical number where the fucking bishop is singing about her, and it is very
those words are not clean.
Like it is
to wash after that song.
It's beyond. I mean, like, there has been in Disney cartoons here and there a little bit of sex, if you will, kind of in the way they've portrayed certain things, and
Gaston, right? Like,
like a lot of that stuff. There's been some double entendre,
but this one's pretty blatant,
dude. And you're talking about, and again, it's because of the book, and the book, like Hunchback of Notre Dame, was written back with like the Three Musketeers, I believe. Like it's all that same kind of time frame, the same, not the same author, but it's that same kind of thing. So the church was looked at differently, and the things that the church did was looked at differently. But you had a member of the clergy, like a priest, a bishop, I think, was he a cardinal? I forget which one. It doesn't really matter at this point, because he's totally lusting after this girl, and not in a sweet, innocent way that like fucking Ed Norton does in Keeping the Faith.
No, this is like a dirty, this priest is gonna burn in hell.
Yeah, like you feel icky after the song, honestly. Like, and it takes a lot for me to feel icky. Like, I love The Cringe, but I watched this. I remember watching it now, I don't think I'd feel the same way. But the first time I watched it, I was kind of like, fuck. Like, that kind of, and she was like, and Natalie was like, see? And I was like, damn, I don't, like, that's real, like, weird, like, rapey is not even the vibe for it. Like, that's not even a word to describe it. It's just fucking creepy. Like, honestly, it's like, it's just beyond, you feel like, the way it goes and the way he talks about it, you feel like he's going to get her back to his chambers and open up, and there's going to be some real weird S&M shit going on. Like, it's a real just kooky vibe, which, if it wasn't a Disney movie, would actually be kind of cool. Like, legitimately, sounds dumb, if this was like a live action film and this was a musical number in the film, it would have been cool, because it would have been for adults. It's wholly inappropriate for children. So like, and my kids watch a lot of shit that a lot of people completely inappropriate for kids. So I'm not, like, that's not me being judgy. It's inappropriate for fucking kids.
Because like, it's funny. I do remember seeing that in the theater, but I don't remember a thing about it, honestly. Number one. Number two, based on what you're saying, that would explain, I think, why I really never hear about that one. I hear about all the other,
for sure, it's legitimately like one of my favorchas. I actually really like it, especially because
fucking really good.
Because you're talking really like good Mozart level, like orchestras and big gothic music, and it's fucking impressive. But it's got its issues.
Is that
that was Demi Moore, I think.
Yeah, and it's tough because it's not that it's sex in a Disney movie. It's a level of sexual awareness and portrayal of sex that kids just don't have a frame of reference for. So it becomes very weird for a fucking kids movie, like very quickly.
Yeah.
But that would be one though. I would say, you know what? No, give me a live action Hunchback. I'll take that. That would be, I think that one, honestly, if you took that cartoon and transferred that to live action, that shit would make millions of fucking dollars. Because it would be so you don't have Esmeralda, you don't have a Disney princess in Esmeralda. It's at all.
She got issues, man.
Like, it's not like that. Yeah, it's like, you'd have to be very clear. It's very dark, like if you made it live action. But it's worth the rewatch and the revisit because the music is fucking phenomenal.
The music is nuts.
It is. I'm really interested to actually, let me double check to make sure.
Yeah, you know what? Knowing how much you like music, Andrew, and I would say to watch it again, and just if for nothing else, just the music, and tell me what you think, because it's pretty dope.
Texting it to myself. Have you guys, since you guys are definitely more Disney-fied than I am, because I'm just not a Disney person. With that said, have you seen anything about the live action Pinocchio?
I know it's coming.
It looks creepy as fuck.
Well, Pinocchio, it's like fucking Pinocchio. I do love there was somebody put up a fake poster and said something about like, what was it? It was like, all he wants is his human flesh, and you're like, oh.
I think I posted
that. Was me, actually.
I liked it. Yeah, it was. It's so hard on Facebook. Some of the stuff that we post.
Yeah,
Andrew, sometimes we always laugh about it because there are times when I'll see a post and like, oh shit, I got to tag. Oh, that's Andrew's post.
Same thing, right?
Kevin. I do the same thing with Kevin. Although it's nice because most of the time I don't even have to tag Kevin because he's already like seen the same shit in the post, and I see it that he's already liked it half the time before I do anyway. So it doesn't really matter. Hunch, dude, it is on Disney Plus.
Yeah, everything's on Disney Plus. It's definitely on Disney Plus.
No, there's some things that aren't on Disney Plus.
Not from their animated catalog though. Maybe Black Cauldron. Is Black Cauldron on there?
Yes, it is. I know that because that's something. Yeah, that my daughters both want to watch because I've raved about it, and I want to read the book series that it's based on. And it's have we all seen the Black Cauldron? I don't think Andrew's probably seen the Black Cauldron.
I haven't seen it.
I saw it when I was a kid. I do not.
You dig the Black Cauldron? It's fun. It's full of fun characters. There's a lot of it came from a book written, I believe, around the same kind of time the Tolkien stuff was. So there's a little bit of that sensibility, if you will, to the characters. There's a lot of like old English and kind of Celtic references and things like that, like with the Horn King and things like that, and just the land they live in. It's a very fun animated movie. It's one of those that it's a very dark animated movie.
Well, that'll appeal to me, just like maybe Scenes of Fantasia did. By the way, you said something about Old English, totally random, but finish this. Old English filled my mind.
And I came up with the funky rhyme.
There you go. Yeah, you know?
He knows what it is. He's not going to play.
Old English filled my mind. And I'm even wearing the hood, dude.
With the funky
Old English filled my mind.
I'm going to knock you out.
Yeah, you know what? It's on my playlist, dude. It's on my playlist.
Sorry. I
know what's happening.
English, it's just like, sorry.
No, I love that. It's just like whenever anybody says stop, I'm always like, oh, are we going to collaborate and listen? Or is it hammer time?
Yeah,
I'm from the 90s. One of the two. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do in this situation.
So,
Hacky joke number 103 on your dial.
Speaking of Hunchback, they have gargoyles in that film. And speaking of gargoyles, they look like these dogs, which are here. So I'm going to talk about these dogs in this fucking show.
Bam! What a segue. Look at you.
Yeah, that was fucking horrible, but I had to get to here. So I just started watching this show tonight. There's only 2 episodes. It's on Hulu via FX. And it's just called The Old Man. That's all it's called. Jeff Bridges, dope.
Legend.
And now,
have you heard that? Real quick, sorry to interrupt you, tangent on this one. Have you heard the story about him and the fucking guitar? from what is it, The Hateful Eight?
No.
So he smashes a guitar in Hateful Eight, right? Have you've seen it?
Nope.
The Quentin Tarantino. Okay. There's a scene in this movie where I think it's a Hateful Eight. Anyway, it's the Quentin Tarantino. It's a Western one. It's winter. Jeff Bridges is in it. It's fucking Tarantino. It's crazy. But he smashes this guitar. It turns out that was a $40,000 guitar.
Oh,
that
I
was
have
like
heard
a
this.
classic
Yep.
piece that they had on set, and he's supposed to smash it, but they had fakes for him to smash, and he just was so in the moment, he fucking destroyed this fucking guitar.
That's awesome.
I think that, to me, that's an amazing piece of little like behind the scenes of acting. Like I love that there's still actors out there that are nutty as shit like that. Like people like got on Christian Bale for the whole yelling at the carpenters thing.
Yes.
I felt bad. I thought it was a little nuts, but you know what? That's that dude's one job, is to get the best performance he fucking can. And you're fucking hammering right in the middle of it. Maybe he went a little overboard on how he was going to set it and gave a lot of really good sound fucking drops for a long time. But I get it. Same kind of thing here.
Yep. Speaking of Christian Bale, Jeff Bridges
Yeah.
is in this show called The Old Man. It's and
who's back, by the way, too. Speaking of
Christian
Bale,
who's the guy that showed up in like season 5 of Dexter? Great actor, Third Rock from the Sun.
John Lithgow.
John Lithgow, thank you.
Who is amazing
in this show.
Winston Churchill.
God damn it.
On
so the way this show opens up, Jeff Bridges is an old man, and the very opening scene is like him waking up to go to the bathroom like 4 times in the middle of the night. Like he's just old. Like they're kind of setting this, and then one time he wakes up, goes into the bathroom, the light's already on. There's a woman on the floor, and she says something like, "I know what you are," or something like that, and it's super creepy. It feels like maybe it's a ghost story or something. Turns out later it's probably a flashback. His wife seems to maybe have gone senile and passed away, so he's on his own. But as the story progresses, you find out that at some point in his life, he was a spy or CIA or something. Okay. Met this Russian woman, and they ran off to be together. And so he kind of quit the life, right? And so something happens. Somebody finds him, and now they want to bring him in, even though it's been seemingly like 30 years or more. And so John Lithgow is the man left in charge, and he actually knows him from their past. So that's why he's kind of put in charge. And they have a great interaction, over the phone, where he calls him and he's like, "Look, man," he's like, "I don't want this to go down. They want to bring you in. He's like, "You have 2 options. You can fight this, which is I know you want to do. You want to scorch the earth and fucking go crazy, or you can go into hiding." He's like, I will set this up for you. I'll get you out of here. You can never talk to your daughter again, but let's just close the door on this and you go into hiding forever. and that's kind of where I'm at in the first episode. I have about 20 minutes left in the first episode. It's an hour long, but it's a very slow burn at first. It's definitely character heavy.
There's a few people in this.
Yeah, and so I'm really curious to see where it goes. He's got these 2 dogs, and they go with him everywhere. They're like some lady walks up to him in a restaurant, because he goes into a restaurant. He's got his 2 dogs. She's like, "You can only have therapy dogs," and he's like, "They're keeping my feet warm. Isn't that therapy?" It's fucking like, and he's Jeff Bridges. But what's really cool is they flash back to when he's on the run, and the dude that they cast to play young him looks just like him, and he must have sat down and studied Jeff Bridges, because the way his mouth moves and the way he speaks is
Bill Heck.
Yeah, dude, like it's unreal. Like he showed up on screen, and part of me was like, did they de-age? Like it was cool.
That's it was fucking awesome.
It was some of the best casting I think I've ever seen. It was amazing.
So what you just said makes me want to go back and rewatch Tron Legacy, because I think Tron Legacy was the first time I saw extended de-aging, which reminds me, the first time I saw de-aging ever was X-Men The Last Stand. But I digress, but that was the first time we saw it done. Great movie. I stand by it. Going back, I remember watching Tron Legacy, Jeff Bridges, of course, and thinking this is amazing movie magic, because I'm buying young Jeff Bridges, but evil. But maybe that was my 2012 eyes. If I watch that now, is it going to look good or is it going to look awful?
It's going to look awful comparatively.
I think so.
Because I remember it. Because I remember watching it then,
and not buying it.
No, I was buying in, but you could just tell. Only because Jeff Bridges has done so many other things, you like already kind of know how old he looks, that you're like, okay, I get what you're doing here. It looks pretty good, but there's too many scenes where they're close up together and talking that it didn't fall for it. And I really liked Tron Legacy. I enjoyed it. I thought it was, my whole thing with that movie was, how are they going to update?
Oh God, you're right. Even the stills look like a video game.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just not for back then. And I'll tell you what, though, looking like it's in a video game actually
kind of works.
Doesn't it didn't it was kind of funny because it didn't play that bad, because even Olivia Wilde looked a little different. Like, I almost felt like they had like some Instagram filters on her, and she as Quark was just really cool. Almost like the same kind of, exuded that same kind of sexy vibe that Angelina Jolie had in Hackers, which oddly enough Jeff Bridges wasn't in, but he is in this show that Kevin was talking about called The Old Man. So the dude's in a restaurant with his dog's warming his feet. He says, "Waiter, there's something wrong with my soup."
Yeah. No.
How is Mike about this one? How is Jeff Bridges in this one? Is he like
he's literally, he's the grumpy old man. Like he's so,
is he mumbly as fuck?
A little bit, which is what makes the dude's performance so fucking impressive. Like, literally, like the way his mouth moves is Jeff Bridges. It's crazy. It's like what you wanted somebody to do in Solo, right? Like, if you're going to play this character, you want to come in and feel like this is that guy when he was young, and you 100% do. Like, there is no question. Like, you really feel like this is Jeff Bridges, 30 years ago.
If this guy is fucking smart, he'll try and fucking turn that into something else, where like this penchant for remaking old movies. Like, this dude could go and like play all that Jeff Bridges did in fucking remakes of things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, seriously, I'm sorry. I just went on this. You say you're ADD. I'm just looking at stills from the classic Tron film. What a gorgeous film. And when they figure out the metaverse, like, one of the first things they got to do is like make Tron where we can just go in there, and like that whole neon shit. I'm telling you, it's going to be amazing.
No, straight up, the greatest invention ever that we all want, and nobody
Dildo.
wants to exist. No, from like I said, you can't tell me the one thing you always want that would like just blow everything else out is having your own holodeck.
Yes.
I mean, legit, for real. Like, there's nothing. Yep. I mean, forget the weird sex.
I have a PlayStation VR. That's what I've got. I got a PlayStation VR. That's as close as I got right now.
Yeah, I mean, if you had a holodeck like that, I think, here's the thing. I'll tell you this. I think actually, if that technology existed, you wouldn't have to worry about vacations and things like that.
Mm-mm.
Because you know what? We want to fucking get away. I tell you what. Hey, let's go to a bistro in Paris tonight. And you just walk into a fucking closet and boom, you're in a Parisian street. And yes, I know they will say, yes, but it's different when you're really there and you're breathing the Parisian air. You know what? Fine. Go fucking do that. Like, legit.
I get
like,
COVID while you're at it. But
if I'm in that level of the Matrix anyway, that's going to be real to me. That memory is going to be real to me. Like, that's the thing that's always been cool about the holodeck episodes on Next Generation to me, is like the weird implications that could have, like for the way people like develop minds and attitudes and aspirations into the real world and how that stuff comes out. Like the Moriarty episode. Anyway, Jeff Bridges, Old Man, the
Fantastic.
Two Dogs.
I don't know if it's fantastic, to be honest. It's a slow burn character
Jeff
study.
Says, try the soup.
Yeah, and it's him and what's his face, and they're both amazing. Lithgow is Lithgow, like he's fucking fantastic, and Jeff Bridges is fantastic. So, I'm interested to see how good it gets. There's only 2 episodes right now, and it's going to run for a full 8 or 10 episodes or whatever, I think. So I'm curious to see where it goes.
I'm interested. Like that sounds right up my alley, actually. Gotta put that on the list. How long is your list of things to watch?
Oh, I stopped having a list. I just try and remember and then forget.
Yeah. I tried to, and I know there is a way to do it on my Apple TV with the whole up next kind of thing. If you search through there, because it'll go through all your platforms and find where it is and everything else. So I can put it in up next and it'll automatically do it. Who has the time?
Yeah, that's a lot of work.
Anybody got anything else?
I was just going to say that I know that I was going to say I met 2 people that you were talking about. I forget the second one. I know I saw John Lithgow. He passed me by and went down into the train, but there was somebody else, and it wasn't Jeff Bridges, but you said someone else, and I'm trying to remember who it was. Quite recently saw like in person, like in New York
Yasser
City.
Arafat.
So someone else that you're talking about. Anyways, who else is in this show? Really quick, did you say?
Those are the only 2 names that I know.
Yeah.
So far.
Maybe you were naming people in the show.
He said Olivia Wilde also.
Oh no, because I brought Olivia Wilde up about Tron Legacy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
no,
when I rewatch this show later, then I'll like remember. But it was something.
Okay. I feel like in looking at the cast, wait, you said an older man?
Mm-hmm.
Because there were a couple of faces that I read. The Old Man. I mean, Amy Brenneman's in it.
Mm-hmm.
She's kind of recognizable. There aren't, though. It is kind of nice though. There aren't a lot of super recognizable faces. There's a lot of people. It's very interesting also, at least recognizable to us. I've been noticing a lot. There's a huge influx of Australian actors.
They're damn good.
And British actors doing American accents.
Yep.
Damn foreigners taking jobs away from American actors. And I don't know if we're doing the same thing on their TV over in Britain.
You're definitely not. Because the thing is, they grew up with our shows. So it's like, it's easier for them to do our accents because they're watching our accents on their television. Meanwhile, I remember the first time I watched Harry Potter back in 2000. Oh, great. I have to adjust my ears to this fucking accent. Now, of course, I'm cool with it. But back then, I was just like, what? They're all British. What? They can't say T. It's all war. Whereas like Black Mirror, I actually like hearing those British accents. So when there's an American,
oi, cunt, get over here.
Oi. Anyway, so they had the leg up on us. Seriously, it's crazy. Spider-Man's British, Wolverine's Australian,
Doctor Strange,
Batman. Both Batmans are British. Doctor Strange is British. Like, man, crazy. Yeah, Doctor Strange. His voice is so weird. How like his real voice is more like Khan, as in the new. But like when he's just like Stephen Strange, like I would never guess that. I can't do his voice. But you know what I'm talking about? Like his Doctor Strange voice is so American. It's so weird.
It is, but it's also very. I feel like he didn't just do an American accent. He
No,
kind of created a very
changed his own voice.
specific kind. Yeah, like it's a very different kind of thing. Like you can't nail down. It's just a very cosmopolitan American accent.
Yeah.
You know, like it's almost like in some ways the equivalent of like the posh British accent, if you will.
Reality, douchebag, whatever. Like he's just like this, like
he does. It's a good character. I was heartily surprised when that first movie came out.
Oh,
as to how good he was. Like
yes.
I knew it was going to be good because Flubberdink Cucumber Butt or whatever his name is just good in everything that he does. But you always wonder because it's another case of I didn't hold out the same level of expectation, but once we had RDJ's Iron Man to, you know, Doctor Strange, who is in a way a lesser character, if you will, but it's a very interesting character in its own way, and you get an actor like that and he creates a little character that's turned into a thing and he's really integral into the entire universe. I think it's really cool. I like him.
I kind of saw it as the second coming of Iron Man in a way, because it's both like a cocky guy who gets hurt and then has to like come back and like save the world. So it was crazy how I was like, okay, so he's going to be the new kind of Tony Stark that they all rally around. So it's going to be weird to actually see them interact. And then I also saw Star-Lord as an Iron Man-ish type guy because he's just like this like swashbuckling dude. So that's why I love Infinity War so much, because you see all these people come together and you're seeing them interact, and it's just like crazy to see like Tony and like, thank you for letting me ramble.
Yeah.
Tony and like Star-Lord go into it, and he's like, okay, I like your plan, but like it sucks, you know? And it was just so good. Your math is blowing my mind. That part of you, like what half of me is all of you. Like it was just so perfect. I just gotta say. All right, sorry.
Did you just one more thing? Did you just say?
And then Iron Man and fucking like Doctor Strange are basically the MVPs of Infinity War. Like those two, like pretty much hold it down, and like they're the big G's. They're the ones who have the biggest role. What were you gonna say?
Did you just apologize for rambling?
I did.
Have you not been here for the last hour and 48 minutes and listened to me talk? I'd be curious if I could clock myself out. I feel like, did I talk a lot tonight? I feel like I really did.
We haven't been using the timer. Like, where did the timer go? Did we scrap that thing?
No, I think we just went with this as a brain dump free for all kind of night. I think we were very. I mean, we had tangents on tangents this evening.
But I think this is a pretty tight show, though. I mean, overall. I mean, I feel like we still like we've been pretty economical with our discussions, maybe. Sort of.
I know. I just feel bad because I think I feel like I shit all over Kevin's old man with his two dogs in the restaurant.
I didn't have much about the old man
because it's only got like it's only had how many episodes?
Yeah, there's only 2 episodes, and I'm only most of the way through the first one, so there's still a long way to go. I'm not even sure I would have talked about it if Lithgow hadn't shown up.
Okay,
like I mean that like brings
level
it up
of
a notch,
build,
you know, like because it in this first episode it really is a super slow burn. Like until that interaction, like it's just setting itself up. So I'm curious to see where it goes, because it could really take off and be super interesting. I know some of the like the promotional pictures and stuff for future episodes, like it's him with a sniper rifle and all this stuff. So there's potential for some interesting action and stuff going on down the line.
Nice.
Yeah.
The only other thing I can think of that I finally caught up on. I don't remember if we talked. I know we've talked about it before, but I don't remember if we talked about it since it ended. Is anybody else caught up on Barry?
Nope, not yet.
How far? Like, are you into the latest season at all?
Nope. Haven't even started it yet.
Oh my god!
I heard the ending of this one's nuts. Like just it's bonkers nuts.
I mean. Barry and depending on where you are in the series, if you're watching it, always finds some way to fail up, if you will. Like I mean, for all the times in life that I feel like I've had 9 lives and I've gotten past something, and the shit this guy winds up getting out of amazes the fucking balls out of me. There were times that I didn't want to like the show, but I still found myself loving it. But this season finale, wowzers. And I can't, dude, NoHo Hank,
he's awesome.
Is just fucking hilarious, dude. That actor is awesome. And that's all I have to say about that. Yeah, but catch up on Barry if you can. It's a nice one because it's half hours, so you can chew through the, like, I think they're 10 episode seasons. You could chew through it in a day if you know, or like the course of 2 days, depending on how much time you have to watch it. But yeah, I think that's going to bring us toward the ends of our show this evening. But there is one small piece of housekeeping business that we have to take care of. And I will drag this recording on until we have a decision. Kevin, what is the movie we all have to watch before our next week 4-person get together?
Put him on the spot.
There's 2 ways to go about this. You could pick a horrible movie that you want to subject us to, or you could go the positive, non-intrusive route and go, dude, no, you know what? This is a movie I fucking love. You all need to watch it, and then we can talk about it.
That does not sound like me at all.
I know. I was hoping it was kind of like subliminal. It was not even subliminal. Andrew's like watching a fly. I'm watching his eyes track something.
I'm just thinking about, I'm envying your position, because I would probably say you would have to watch Macross Do You Remember Love? This is a 1984 anime film.
It's the basis for the Robotech series.
I mean, it's funny you say that. Okay, so basically, the Macross Robotech series, what they did is they took like the original anime, the Rick Hunter, Lisa Hayes, whatever, but they made a movie out of it. And basically what it is in that universe, they made a movie in that universe. So that you're watching a movie that exists in that cartoon universe. And it's got way better animation. And it's just like, it's a condensed retelling. But again, it's
no. But that's what's neat about the condensed retelling. And that's what a lot of people don't realize when they watch it for the first time, because they only think that it's, this is one of the things that, you know, that Macross is based on. You're like, no, this isn't. This exists. It's like kind of meta that you're watching. Very meta. Like, imagine, if you will, all these events have happened, and then a filmmaker makes a film about these events, and they made that film.
Yes.
And so it's kind of a cool thing, because it does a decent job of condensing that story down.
Yes. Oh, so you've seen it?
Oh yeah.
Dude, Pete, I already fucking loved you, but I love you even more. You're familiar with that movie? Oh my god.
Dude, I've seen original Genesis Climber Mospeda. Like I sought some of that stuff out when I found out like where those parts of Robotech came from. I've only seen clips of them and things like that, because that stuff was really neat the way what they did to put that together.
Yes, they weaved it together, and actually, I'll just say it made a better story, frankly.
Yeah.
Because the second one, the Masters with Dana Sterling and everything.
Yeah.
I watched the original anime. It's horrible.
It just doesn't make any sense.
No, it's bad. But actually, within the context of Robotech, believe it or not, it's actually my favorite. And it's actually, I think, way ahead of its time, because it's very female led.
Oh yeah.
Like the second part of Robotech.
Completely. Oh,
anyway,
Max and Miriam Sterling, 2 of my favorite characters of all time. That's one of my favorite on-screen romances.
Story. Oh yeah. For sure.
As a kid, it was Max and Miria. Oh, and Roy Fokker. Even just a few in the beginning there, but when Roy goes down, it's really tough.
R.I.P. Roy. Big brother. Farewell, big brother.
I think Kevin's contemplating suicide at this point, or he fell asleep. I'm not sure.
No, I was just letting you guys talk because you like to do that. No, I think what I'm going to go with, it's on Disney Plus, which we all have. I've never watched it. It got really shitty reviews when it first dropped, and I think it's actually had a second coming since then, and people have looked at it through a different light. So I'm curious about it. I also I can't wait to hear how much Andy likes it, because it doesn't matter what it is, he will. John Carter.
Oh, that's a good call, dude.
Oh, very good call, Kevin.
All right. I'm with
Nicely done, my friend.
Yeah, I'm like I said, I'm really curious. I never watched it, like I said, and it did not do well in its initial run. I think it was one of the biggest flops of all
it was
time
the biggest flop. Yeah,
Disney's John Carter.
Yeah,
starring what's his name? Gambit.
Taylor
Taylor Hitch or whatever.
Yeah, who was supposed to be Gambit.
Yep.
Or was Gambit.
He was Gambit in Wolverine.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this will be a rewatch for me because I've watched it.
Okay.
Because I heard how bad it was. I'm very interested to go back, and I watched it when it was first available, like when it I don't think it was streaming. I think it was still like DVD. Like I think it was 2012. I think it was like that far back where I think I got it on fucking Netflix DVD mailed to my house. Whoosh. It's I remember it being bad, especially I never read the source material, but it's supposed to be a very beloved kind of story among science fiction fans. And I heard that this one, it's really tough, and I don't remember much of it because I just remember not liking it. Just I'm very interested to do a rewatch. This is actually cool that you're making us watch this, Kevin. Yeah, this is a good one, because it is one of those Disneys that I'm kind of sad that Disney got this and kind of dropped the ball on this one so bad. It's kind of like, honestly, it's kind of like, I don't want to say the level of, but kind of the shitty way I feel about the movie that they made for Battlefield Earth. Like, if we're going to call back all the way to the beginning, it's like, it's that bad.
It was supposed to be a franchise, right? Like, this is supposed to be the first in a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, and it just dropped the ball. And I can't remember now, and I'm very interested to, again, I keep saying I'm very interested to watch it. I can't wait to watch this because it'll be cool to try and figure out why it's so bad. Because I remember having a lot of issues with it, but one of them wasn't actually character design. There's a lot going on there that was really cool. There's a lot going on that's really, really cool, but there's just a lot that's bad. Anyway, okay, cool. That is our pick. We got to make sure we let Andy know that. So we will talk about that next week. Yeah. All right, that'll be that. Coolness. Well, I don't have anything fun to close the show with because I forgot my goddamn Mad Libs again, and I haven't had the time to do what I want to do with it because I'm lazy. And
what I'll say is,
now I have my kids to deal with.
Anyone watching this show, whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube or listening to us on Apple Music or any of the other streaming platforms, it's okay. Don't be a lurker. Let us know what you think. Leave a comment, like, subscribe. I've always wanted to say that because I've watched so many things and they're always saying like, subscribe. I actually do it. So you know what? I'm gonna try it. Maybe you'll do it now that I'm saying it. Be part of our metaverse. Maybe on our show. You never know. It's fun. Interact. We want to hear from you. I believe in the power of Adderall, and I know that it's like totally banned in other countries, but it changed my life, and I'm only on is it 10 milligrams? That's not a whole lot. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. It's fine. I always said I do infomercials for this shit because I mean, people say, but seriously, it's like I'm not even abusing it. I'm like, fuck that. No, what I'm doing is I'm making it make sure that I am sharp and on point and like legitimately like being all that I can be. I'm a child from the 80s, baby, so before this show I actually anyway, point is Adderall's a shit.
Did you chop up a line of Adderall, Andrew? Were you snorting Addies, Andrew?
No. But okay, fuck it. So basically, on
Do
weekends,
you sell your medication to college students, Andrew?
Definitely not. It's my precious. I would never give it to anyone. It's for me. So on weekends, I don't take it in the morning, right?
Right.
Because like I'm not working, okay? But on a week, did I say weekends? Yeah. On the weekdays, I take it. On the weekends, I don't, okay? But then the day, like right before the show, you know, I'll just take half the daily dose. And then I am on and popping because before, definitely cut some of this out because I sound like a junkie.
This is going to be the only part of the episode we drop.
But like before, seriously, I was just like, I just had some pizza, which I don't have a lot because it's for my diet. Anyway, pizza, watching the boys, and my shit was just like, I was chilling in. I was like, I hadn't shaved, nothing. So I popped half a pill, popped it in, let it kick in, shaved, showered, and then came on the show. And I just had to say that not only for the show or for the audience, but for you, Pete, because I don't know if you take anything, but I'm telling you right now, I'm ADD too, but it makes me hyper focused like a motherfucker.
Side effects are uncommon and may include nausea, vomiting, death, dizziness, vaginal ejaculations, dysentery, cardiac arrhythmia, mild heart explosions, varicose veins, darkened stool, darkened soul, lycanthropy, trucanthropy, more vomiting, arteriosclerosis, hemorrhoids, diabetes, virginity, mild discomfort, vampirism, gender impermanence, spontaneous dental hydroplosion, sugar high, even more vomiting, total scrotal implosion, brown, your mom, and mild rash.